Welcome to the Dr. Joe Show, where we learn about women's health and sexual wellness. Our guest today is Lauren Davis. Lauren, so good to see you again.
You
I had
too.
you in class. I can't remember how many years ago, but it hasn't been. Well, it's been a while, but not.
Quite a few.
Yeah. Well, what are you doing these days? What's keeping you busy?
Uh, these days, I'm working at the hospital some as a nurse, and taking care of babies,
Okay, and tell us
my
about.
own babies.
Yeah, tell us
So
about your
just doing
family.
the whole mom thing, and
Okay,
yeah.
well, what's your? I know you got
So
Derek.
I've got a 2.5-year-old
Okay.
who is napping right now. I'm married to Derek. We've been married since 2014, so we got married while I was in the middle of college. And then we had Elena in 2018, and then we have another one coming in June, another girl. So
you, you
lots of
have a
fun.
you have a busy life, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is pretty busy.
Well, that'll be great to have a second daughter as well.
Yeah, we're excited.
Good.
So that's what
Derek.
we've been up to. Just
Okay. Well, Derek's a great guy too, by the way. Having met him in the past, he's a great young man, and tell him I said hello.
I will definitely. He is very great.
Okay. You guys make a wonderful couple.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm letting a little of this lag time work itself out, so I'm waiting to let you hear what I'm saying, and I'll do the same thing with you, vice versa. Um, so again, this is the whole idea of the Dr. Joe Show is to take experience that young women, women in general, I guess, that have had since college, and try to make it available to the women, the college women currently, and also the experiences that you had while you were in college, as far as different things as far as women's health and sexual wellness, especially. So, um, looking back at your college experience, and I guess we already covered pretty much what you're doing these days. Before we leave the subject of your nursing work, are you enjoying being a nurse? Is it a good situation? And tell us about that.
Yeah, it is a good situation. So I work on in a hospital. I work on a step down unit. So I primarily get cardiac patients, patients who need a little bit more focus than like a regular room, but not quite on ICU level. So yeah, it's fun. Learn a lot. Pretty much still learn something new every time I work, and I've been doing it for 5 years. So it's always changing, always exciting. Um, and yeah, it's just cool to get to kind of be help someone when they're most vulnerable, which is being in the hospital and being sick, and especially this past year with COVID, just a lot of people felt really isolated this year. So I just felt really honored and privileged to just kind of be able to love on them and um, yeah, just help them smile hopefully and feel better.
Yeah, well, you'd be great at that, because again, I remember back to your wedding day, the day you guys got married. That was a great day. And
Yeah.
the launch you guys got was good. Um, but yeah, I can totally picture you being very nurturing and very understanding and empathetic, and a great person to have when somebody's going through a tough, not only physical time but emotional time as well. I know that you're very emotionally sensitive, so I'm sure
Yeah.
you're one of the best at your job of all. So, but let me ask you
Oh,
this.
well, thank you.
You're welcome. Um, do you feel like your college education that you had, did it prepare you pretty well for your work as a nurse? And do you think that's a pretty good like investment in your time and the money that you spent on it and that type of thing, as far as getting you where you wanted to be? And is it what you expected, as far as back when you were in nursing school versus now?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely I definitely learned a lot in nursing school. definitely helped prepare me. But I do think I learned more probably just working and from experience, because you just, I guess with nursing, you really just can't see everything while you're in school. So of course I learned a lot of, like, my textbook knowledge and things like that. But as far as hands-on experience, I honestly learned most of that just by doing it and, kind of from nurses around me and things like that. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like MTSU and nursing in general, like I felt like they prepared me well,
Mhm.
to be a nurse.
Good. Yeah, well, that's it's important that the time and money you put into a bachelor's degree and so on and from there, I think it's important that it translates to being usable knowledge. And I know just what you mean about learning a lot more. When you actually get on whatever job it is. But it sounds like in the nursing field that's it's a good progression. It sounds like
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
so.
Mhm.
All right. Well, getting back then to your college days, as far as a young woman, I remember in my class clearly, did a great job, great efforts throughout. I think you learned a lot, which was a great thing. And you got married which year of college?
Um, so like right in the middle of college, I started college in 2012, got married in 2014, graduated in 2016. So like smack dab in the middle of college.
Okay, and so Derek and you were going together then, I presume, before, probably from the time. Well, tell us when did you start going steady, so to speak, with Derek?
So we started dating while I was a senior in high school, and Derek was already in college. He's a couple years older than me. So yeah, it was like pretty much my last year of high school. We were together the whole year. So that's kind of why we got married, maybe earlier than some do, just because I met him when I was 16. We got together when I was 17, really. So we just kind of started young. So got married kind of young, but yeah.
How do you feel about that? And by the way, Jody and I got married. I was 20 and she was 19, so
Yeah.
pretty young as well. How do you feel about that circumstance versus the typical circumstance these days with the getting married at the woman is 27 on average and the man is at 29? What do you think about your younger marriage versus that?
Um, I think it honestly like is just kind of a personality thing and a maturity thing. It worked out really well for us because since Derek was a little bit older, like he was able to graduate college, start working, start saving up for a house, things like that. I think if we had have been the same age and both in college together, we might have waited longer just for financial reasons and things like that.
Mm.
But our situation just kind of worked out like that. But I mean, I'm glad we did it for sure. Got married young. It was fun to just like be married. It was definitely different than I'm sure a lot of people experience, but it was fun for me to be married kind of the last bit of college and have him support me, and but yeah, like I said, if we didn't have our little age gap, we probably would have waited a few more years just to save up money and not, be broke college kids married.
Right. I
So
got I under I gotcha. Yeah, I totally agree. So you were really kind of not really involved in the hookup culture that is, I think, such a what would be the right word for it? Kind of a trial a lot of these young women that are on campus today. But did you observe in your friends? Were there friends of yours that were involved in that type of thing? And just what did you think, I guess, generally about the relationship situation at college with other people other than yourself?
yeah, I mean, I like my closest friend, Amity, my closest friend in college, of course, she was in like a committed relationship, but I did have several other friends who were just kind of playing the field. And so it was just kind of a different experience for me because I wasn't really able to relate on that level. But I know like many people meet their spouse in college. I just think you have to, I don't support the whole hookup culture and things like that. So I think, even if college is, about meeting people, you still need to be smart about it and make wise choices throughout that dating process.
Right. Well, again, like you said, and like I've observed, you're exceptionally mature, I would say, young woman, and Amity as well. She's also very mature. So probably a lot of the negative things that are happening these days, and when you were there, uh, probably wouldn't have affected you anyway. You seem to, and by the way, you're looking more and more like your mom, which is a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I look a lot like her.
Yeah, and more so since the last time I saw you, like I said, which is great. Um, but
Oh, yeah.
it seems like you've had a real good raising as far as, you've been taught a lot of virtuous things, and it seems like, with you have, I believe, a Christian uh, relationship with that also has had a big influence on your life. Can you speak to that and how that may have affected what happened, as far as, in college and getting married and that type of thing?
Yeah, so I mean, I was raised in a Christian household, and I am a Christian. I want to raise my kids that way. That's how our household runs. God first, family, husband second, kids after that. But yeah, I mean, I think just because I had that background and just had those morals and mindset, like I wasn't the type of person to hook up with people or party during college. Drink a lot, things like that. That just wasn't like who I was. I wanted to kind of have a better image of myself and present myself in a Christian manner. So that meant, just making better choices. Um, so I really didn't get involved with like that type of culture.
Mhm. And did you ever have any people treat you kind of weird because you weren't interested in getting involved in it, or did you have any experiences along that line?
Um, Maybe a few. I definitely think that I had a few friends from high school that we went to the same college, but we kind of went our separate ways just because they were kind of into like the partying and hookup culture, and I wasn't going that way. And I have a couple people in mind that I'm thinking of that I still keep up with now, but we kind of just stopped hanging out a lot. And it wasn't like I wouldn't say it was a judgy situation. It was just kind of like you kind of want to do this and I kind of want to do that, so we can still be friends, but we're not. I don't really want to do what you're doing. You don't want to do what I'm doing. So, um, so I've had some friendships that I think from high school to college it kind of ventured out just because of differences like that.
Yeah. Well, that's understandable. What do you think the percentage of your friends, of the people that you knew, let's just say in nursing school, what percentage were kind of living the hookup life and kind of the party life versus the percentage that were living like you and Amity were?
Probably not a lot like Amity and I were. um, I keep up with a few people from nursing school, Amity, of course, and a couple others, but not a ton, to be honest. So I don't know. I guess I just feel like I didn't really live the typical college life, which I'm fine with. Not that, like I have any regrets with that, but I feel like college gets this like, you know, um, rapport of being drinking and frat houses and sorority houses and just having fun and doing all this stuff. But that's just not really how about college. I was there to get an education and I enjoyed it. I still did things like that, but I didn't do the whole um, party and type thing. And, um, I just had a few friends in school, but that was fine with me. I was content with that.
Mhm. Well, and you've got a solid life now, because of it, probably. There's probably some of your friends that were on the other lifestyle that probably have a lot of, you know, hurt, heartache, and issues that you haven't had to deal with, so um I look at things like, from the past, because I lived in the past. I was born way back in the day, way before you guys. And I can remember our parents, hardly any of our parents were divorced. Can't think of one childhood friend whose parents were divorced, or, that kind of a situation. So in our lifetimes, it's changed to where, it's probably more common to come from a single parent family now than it is to come from your two original parents. So
Yeah.
that's really a lot of my interest in what we're doing, with Sex IQ, with Romance Revival, and all of it is to try to bring back around some of the sensibility of what you're saying, about the way you've done things, and the good results, the good outcomes, that you have to show for it to the young people, because I think for most of them, it makes sense to go that route versus the other route. The other thing to me is, when girls, and you probably know more about this than I do, but girls these days, a lot of them are getting or starting puberty even younger than they ever have before, all the way down to 10 or 9 or 10 or whatever. And then
Yeah.
waiting to get married at 27, that's a long time to go, as far as having sexual integrity. So there may be some messaging there going on from
Right.
yeah, women's fertility peaks between
Yeah.
19 and 29. So anyway, what you and Derek did, and then Amity and her husband have done, I think makes a lot of sense, and that's part of the word we're trying to get out as well. And then talking to you here today, you don't seem to have any damage from from not being in the hookup culture, and really no
No,
regrets.
I'm just fine with it. No,
Well,
yeah, I'm just fine with it. I mean, I think it's hard definitely for college women. There's lots of influences around. There's comparisons, especially with women. It's easy to compare yourself to those around you, and it's a hard culture. It really is. It's hard to be a young woman. I know there's influences everywhere, but I just think staying true to who you are, having integrity, having morals, having values, having that keeping your life committed to Christ and just sticking with that. And doesn't mean it's always going to be easy, but um, I think it's well worth it.
yes, I agree very much with that, and that's, for the young women that don't happen to be Christian, or some other type of religion. I think it all makes sense as well for them, even the ones that are not, don't have a religious belief system. The health benefits from it, for one thing, and then just, I don't know, not only physical health but also mental health, and all of it. It really makes sense to
Yeah,
be,
definitely.
yeah, to have that integrity you're talking about. And I think a lot of the responsibility for them not having it, and the young men as well, is my generation's. That's what my generation's doing, because we allowed things to go in the direction that they've gone, and then just gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. Just gotten more and more outlandish, more and more outrageous, as far as things being sexualized. And
Yeah,
yeah, so I want to see, for your daughters, I want to see
yeah,
things go the other direction, so by the time they're dealing with these kinds of issues, maybe they'll be back to a majority of having the same kind of moral fiber you have, and the same kind of belief system that you have, that have allowed you to be so successful. So let me ask you, uh
that's what I hope for.
yeah, exactly. um Let me ask you, what have you found the most fulfilling at this point in your life? What have you found to be the most rewarding and fulfilling thing?
Um, Honestly, the most rewarding thing is for me, my family. Like, my husband and my thing thus far. Like, I love being a nurse. I love my career, but At the end of the day, that's not number one on my priority list. So I think I'm just have my family and to make far.
I lost you, I think, a little bit. I'm waiting for the lag to go by.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Okay, now I can hear you again. Can you hear me?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's saying
Yes.
okay, good. It's saying on my end that your my connection's unstable, so it's having a little trouble between the two. But got heard your answer to that. So
Okay.
that's a great answer to that. Let me ask you also, looking back now, again, you had a different experience from most women on campus. It sounds like maybe even 70 or so percent maybe didn't have the same experience you did. But what would be your advice to the ones that are going through college now, as far as the way they should conduct themselves and that type of thing? Well, another way to put this is from what you know now, what would you want to have known from this, what you know now, back when you were a college woman?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think just staying true, like I said, having integrity, staying true to who you are, try not to get caught up in the college culture, but still enjoy it. I mean, college is a really special time. I think I remember when I was in college, like I was just so sometimes I would get so stressed and overwhelmed with studying and making great grades and all these things. But it really is a fun experience being in college. So just enjoying it, but still making smart choices while you're enjoying it. Um, Keeping up with your grades, and just having good relationships, but still making wise choices with the time you're given in college.
Right. It's a lot more carefree than you realize when you're going through it once
Yeah.
you've been out in your work world, right? I mean, the work world is a whole lot more challenging than college is, but college can be challenging. It's busy with with having a job probably besides going to school
Yeah,
and
very
then
good.
social life and all that. But the seriousness of life definitely goes up once you graduate from college, I believe. So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, no more. Yeah, in other words, enjoy the fun that's available without getting into the heavy partying and all
Yeah.
the hookup culture and all that while you're in college.
Yeah.
One last question here then. Um, what is there anything that I haven't asked about? Again, presumably the majority of people watching this video will be, college women or younger. Um, is there anything that I haven't asked about that you think would be important for them to know about that you can share? You've already shared
Um,
a lot
I
of
think
great
you
things.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I think you covered everything pretty well. Just, be careful, be smart. College is a time of lots of influences all around. So just be careful. I've had friends get into situations in college that didn't end up so well. So just being smart with your choices, especially during those college years when, things can be wild and fun and all those. Um, just trying to be smart about it.
Yeah, and I think I'll fill this in. You may or may not have been thinking about this, but I think alcohol can really over too much alcohol can or other types of drugs can really cloud people's judgment and all of that, especially women's, because it affects women in a certain way. So yeah, I would add
Yeah.
in alcohol. Be careful, especially around alcohol, and if you happen to be taking in alcohol, so especially be careful.
Yeah. I mean, definitely
Yeah.
lots of bad, not that I don't think, alcohol is it can be used in a bad way, but I wouldn't say like, like have a drink every now and again, but, um, yeah, like you said, things can definitely go south
when it's overdone, I guess would be the way to put it. When it's
yes.
way too much of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Alcohol in moderation is fine. It's fine. So, but Lauren Davis, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your time. And again, I know you have a busy life, and just really appreciate your sharing your experiences. And I think yours and Derek's experience of getting married at the age you did, and building a life together. I think that's really a great example for these young people, because they've kind of eliminated that in their thinking, I believe, in a lot of ways. And they plan on building a capstone, as far as capstone in their life is, and the marriage is the stone up in the top. But you guys have really built a cornerstone. Your marriage is a cornerstone of your lives these days, and I think that works well now, or in the past when Jody and my wife Jody and I did it as well. So, but thank you again.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, and we'll stay in touch.
Yes, definitely.
Give Derek my best, and again, congratulations on having that baby. When's the baby due?
June 18th. So
Oh,
counting down.
it'll be coming here pretty soon. So, all right. Thanks, Lauren, and you
Oh,
take
I
care.
know.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure you're feeling it. Yeah, I can't really tell from this angle, but I'm sure you're feeling it by this time. So, but anyway, thank you very much, and you take good care.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right.